Selamun Aleyküm. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين ماذا جاء رسول الله ماذا جاء سادة أحسن ماذا جاء شهد يستر قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أحدث أحدكم في صلاته فليأخذ بأنفه ثم لينصرف. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sizden biri namaz kıldığı anda abdesti bozulduğunda burnunu tutsun, sonra bulunduğu yerden ayrılsın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that if it occurs that while you pray your ablution is broken and invalidated, then you shall hold your nose with your hand and leave the place of prayer.
Yani insanlık hali ya gaz çıkar ya bir şey kan akar filan onu daha çıkarken yani utanmasın diye yani burnunu çıksın ki abdest bozuldu diye bilsinler millet.
And it is human. This can occur any time that one accidentally vents air or a bleeding starts so that one's ablution is invalidated during prayer. And in order for one to not feel ashamed and in order to let everyone know in a decent way that one needs to renew one's ablution, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recommends that if that occurs, that one's wudu ablution is invalidated, then one should hold his nose with his hand and leave the place of prayer.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا صلى أحدكم فأحدث فليمسك على أنفه ثم لينصرف. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sizden biri namaz kılar ve abdesti bozulursa eliyle burnunu tutsun sonra namazdan ayrılıp gitsin.
And again, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if one's ablution, wudu, is invalidated during prayer, then one should hold his nose with his hand and then leave the place of prayer.
Yani Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem insanların utanmasın diye yapmasın yani edep üzerine insanları öğretiyor ki başkaları buna kötü bakmasın diye burnunu tutsun. Şu zaman bazı insan burnundan kanama olur. Onun için öyle tutsun gitsin diyor.
And this is how decent our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is, and how subtle he is in his teachings of good behavior and good manners. And this is yet just another example in order to show how people should not be made to feel ashamed. And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings, thus says that if your wudu, if your ablution is invalidated, then just hold your nose with your hand as if all of a sudden a bleeding started, and then leave the place of prayer so that people will not have bad thoughts against you, and that you yourself don't need to feel ashamed. But by holding your nose with your hand, it will just look like as if a bleeding had started all of a sudden, and then you can leave that place of prayer in a decent manner without feeling ashamed of having invalidated one's ablution.
Abdestin tazelesin. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الشيطان لا يأتي أحدكم وهو في صلاته فيأخذ بشعرة من دبره فيمدها فيرى أنه أحدث فلا ينصرف حتى يعمل صوتا أو يسمع ريحا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem diyor ki muhakkak ki sizden biri namazdayken şeytan kendisine gelerek diburinden bir kıl çeker. Yani makattan bir şey çeker. Bunu üzerine o kimse abdesti bozulduğu sanır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, reports that when you are in prayer, Shaitan will approach you, and then he will pull a hair from your bottom, so that you think that you have invalidated your ablution, and thus Shaitan will try to whisper to you that your wudu has been invalidated. But what happened is that Shaitan pulled a hair from your bottom.
Ve bu sebeple kişi bir ses duymadıkça ya da bir koku hissetmeyecekse namazını bırakıp ayrılmasın. Yani
But our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that one should not let oneself be influenced by what shaitan does there, but instead, if you don't smell anything and if you didn't hear anything, then continue your prayer and don't let yourself be influenced by that feeling you may have felt in your bottom.
bir şey hissederse bir vesvese olursa diye Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem o yani ses gelmedikten sonra, koku duymadıktan sonra o vesveseye kulak asmayın.
And thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, warns us to not give in to the whisperings caused by shaitan. And it may happen that one may have a feeling as if one had vented air, and this is shaitan pulling a hair from your bottom. And don't give in to those whisperings of shaitan. And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, makes clear that if you don't smell anything and if you didn't hear anything, then your ablution has not been invalidated. Continue and complete your prayer.
Olabilir inşallah böyle bir hareket olur şeyde abdest bozuldu zanneder. O ses ya koku olmadıktan sonra hiç bozmayın namazı.
Because it may happen that during prayer some movement be felt, and you may think that you vented air, but if it's just an assumption, and if there's no smell, and if you didn't hear anything, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says those are bad whisperings from shaitan. You should complete your prayer. Your wudu, your ablution has not been nullified.
Abdest de bozulmamıştır diye. Çoğu insan var burada. Vesvese insanlarda çoktur. Bu vesvesede
there are many people who suffer from such bad whisperings.
Hem namaz bozmak iyi değil.
And it's not good to break one's prayer.
Bir de zahmet olur. Onun için
and if you give in to those bad whisperings, you will make yourself undergo hardships, and it's not good to make things hard and difficult for you.
Peygamberimizin işin kolayını kolaylaştırıyor her şey Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he made everything be easy.
Koku gelmedikçe, ses gelmedikçe sen namazın tamamdır.
And don't give in to any bad whisperings. So if there's no smell and you didn't hear anything, then everything is still okay, and your wudu, your ablution, has not been invalidated.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا نعس أحدكم وهو يصلي فليرقد حتى يذهب عنه النوم فإن أحدكم إذا صلى وهو ناعس لا يدري لعله يذهب يستغفر فيسب نفسه. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sizden biri namaz kılarken uykusu geldiği zaman uykusu geçinceye kadar yatsın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you pray and you're overcome by sleep and you feel so tired that you're about to fall asleep, then one should rather lie down and rest.
Yani o gece namazlar falan şey yaparsa onu çok uyku gelince yatsın diyor Peygamberimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And this especially holds true for the night prayers, for the additional prayers performed at night, that if one starts feeling too tired, too sleepy, then one should rather rest and sleep.
Çünkü uykulu vaziyette namaz kılan kimse belki de bilmeyerek istiğfar diye edip Allah'tan bağışlama diyeceği yerde kendine sövebilir.
Because if you pray while you are sleepy, then it may occur that while you wish to ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness and you want to pray for mercy, that you accidentally, because you are so sleepy, you actually curse yourself.
Beddua edebilir. Yani namaz kılarken ne dediğini, uyku halindeyken ne dediğini bilmez. Onun için istirahat ettiği için uyku gittikten sonra namazını kılsın diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
Because when you are sleepy, you are unaware of what you say, and it then may occur that instead of making your prayers and asking Allah Almighty for forgiveness and mercy, you are instead saying things wrongly, and you are actually cursing yourselves. So if one feels too sleepy for prayer, then one should rather sleep and get one's rest so that one can perform one's prayer in awareness.
Selam. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا نعس أحدكم وهو في المسجد فليتحول من مجلسه ذلك إلى غيره. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem gene buyuruyor ki sizden biri bu defa mescitteyken uykusu gelirse oturduğu o yerden kalkıp başka bir yerde otursun.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you are in the masjid and you feel tired and sleepy in the place where you are, then you should change places within the masjid.
Çünkü mescitte namaz kılması lazım. Namazda oturarak namazı beklerken uykusu gelirse başka yere gitsin ki ta ki namazını tamam olsun.
So when you are in the masjid and you are waiting for prayer, for example, and you sit and then you're getting sleepy and tired, and in order to avoid falling asleep, you should just change your places within the masjid.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ائتوا المساجد حسرا ومعصبين فإن العمائم تجار المسلمين. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki mescitlere mevfersiz, yani o savaşta giydiğin mevfer var ya, onu giymeden ve başlarınızı sarıkla örtülmüş vaziyette geliniz.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you come to the masjid, don't come with your armor you wear in war, but come with your turbans on your head.
Çünkü sarıklar Müslümanların tacıdır.
Because the turban is the crown of the Muslim. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says.
Yani bu oldu, namaz harp zamandan başka namaza gelecekken yani miğfer giymeye gerek yok. Miğfer değil de sarık koyun diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem. Sarık.
So there is wartime, and there may be certain conditions within wartime. However, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that in general, don't come with your armor in war towards the masjid for prayer, but you should come with your turbans on your head.
Müslümanların tacıdır diyor.
Because the turban is the crown of the Muslim.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ركعتان بعمامة خير من 70 ركعة بلا عمامة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sarıklı olarak kılınan 2 rekat namaz sarıksız kılınan 70 rekat namazdan daha hayırlıdır.
2 rak'ah performed with a turban are more valuable than 70 rak'ah performed without a turban. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says.
Yani daha sevabı çok büyüktür.
There's great reward in performing one's prayers with a turban.
Sarık olmalı. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة تطوع أو فريضة بعمامة تعدل 25 صلاة بلا عمامة وجمعة بعمامة تعدل 70 جمعة بلا عمامة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sarıklı olarak kılınan nafile veya farz namaz, yani namaz olduktan sonra farzı nafilesi fark etmez diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem. Sarıksız olarak kılınan 75 namaza eşittir. Yani fazileti.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you wear a turban, whether it's a nafila prayer, voluntary prayer, or an obligatory prayer, a prayer performed with a turban is 25 times more valuable than a prayer performed without a turban.
25 defa daha fazladır namaz sarıksız olandan. Sarıklı olarak kılınan bir cuma namazı sarıksız olarak kılınan 70 cuma namazına eşittir.
And a Juma prayer performed with a turban is 70 times as valuable as 70 Juma prayers performed without a turban.
O da daha fazla, cuma namazı daha fazla sevap var.
So there's special rewards also for Juma to be obtained when wearing a turban for Juma prayer.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الشيطان يأتي أحدكم في صلاته فليلبس عليه حتى لا يدري كم صلى فإذا وجد ذلك أحدكم فليسجد سجدتين وهو جالس قبل أن يسلم ثم يسلم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sizden biri namaz kılarken şeytan kendisine gelir ve ne kadar kıldığını bilmesin diye kafasını karıştırır.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that you must know that while you perform prayer, Shaitan will approach you, and he will try to mess with your mind so that you forget how much you prayed.
Yani namaz durunca namaza durduk. Şeytan muhakkak her tarafa fırsatını bulmak ister ki şeyi bozsun.
And so even when you are in prayer, Shaitan will do his best in order to break and nullify your prayer.
Ama Allah'a şükür onun da çaresini söyleyen Peygamberimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And he will try to make you forget. Nevertheless, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gives us the recipe against those endeavors of Shaitan.
Kafasını karıştırır. Sizden birisi böyle bir şey hissederse oturduğu yerde ne kadar kıldığını, yani kafayı karıştırır. Şeytan ne kadar kıldığını bilmez. Böyle bir şey hissederse oturduğu yerde selam vermeden önce 2 secde yapsın ve öyle selam versin.
And thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you feel that Shaitan approaches you during prayer and has messed with your mind so that you have forgotten about how much you prayed, then in that moment, that is no problem. There's no need to break one's prayer. Simply, when you sit down, before, when you give salam, make 2 additional sajdas.
Secde-i sehvdir bu. Yani ne kadar kıldım bilmiyorum. 3 mü kıldım, 5 mi kıldım, iyice karıştırdı. Oturduğu vakit sehiv secdesi yapması lazım ki namaz tamam olur. Şeytan da boşuna uğraşmış olur.
So when you are unsure about how much you prayed, whether 3 rakah or 5 rakah, when you sit down, make sajda of having forgotten, make the sajda sahv, and then it will be okay and your prayer will be accepted.
قال Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem İnnâme ana başarun ense kema tensavun فَاَذَا نَسِيَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْجُدْ سَجْدَتَيْنِ وَهُوَ جَالِسٌ. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ben bir beşerim, yani ben de insan olayım, Adem olayım diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem ve sizin unuttuğunuz gibi unuturum.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says, I am a human being too. I am too a descendant from Adam, and I'm also a child, one of the children of Adam, and I too forget.
Yani her insanlık hali oluyor peygamberlere de.
And prophets too have undergo conditions of human beings such as forgetfulness.
Unutma da oluyor. Yani eğer sizden biri kaç rekat kıldığını unutursa oturduğu yerde selam vermeden 2 secde yapsın diyor.
And thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you forget, and to forget is human, then and you forget how much you prayed, while you sit down before giving the final salams, make two additional sajda.
Gene secde sehel yapsın diyor. قال Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem secdeta sehvu fi salat tujzi'ane min kulli ziyadete ve nuksan. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki namazda 2 sehv secdesi her türlü fazlalık ve eksikliği telafi eder. Yani fazla mı kıldım, 3 mü kıldım, 5 mi kıldım, sehv yaptıktan sonra o namaz tamam olmuş olur.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you make those 2 additional sajda, those sajda sahw, then these additional 2 sajdas will make up for both cases, whether you have prayed too less or whether you have prayed too much. So whether you prayed 3 and you should have prayed 4, or whether you prayed 5 and you should only have prayed 4, in either case, you just make those 2 additional sajdas before giving the final salams, then your prayer will have been completed.
Yok yapmazsan o vakit namazın ya bozulur ya da eksik olur.
And without those additional sajdas, without sajda sahw, your prayer will not be complete. But if you do the additional sajda, if you do these 2 additional sajdas, the sajda sahw, then if in the case that you forgot whether it's 3, whether you prayed too less or too much, it will be complete.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سجدتا السهو بعد التسليم وفيهما تشهد وسلام. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki selamdan sonra iki sehv secdesi, teşehhüd ve selam vardır. Yani sehv secdesi yaptıktan sonra zaten teşehhüd okuyorsun. Ondan sonra bir sağ selam veriyorsun, selamun aleyküm deyip hemen iki secde yapıyorsun. Ondan sonra gene oturup teşehhüd edip salatü selam dualarını yapıp ondan sonra selam veriyorsun.
So when you forget how much you prayed and you sit down, then you are about to give your salams to complete your prayer. When you give your salam to the right, you make two additional sajdas. So you sit down, you recite tashahhud, and you recite at-tahiyat. Then you give salam to the right, and before giving salam to the left, you make two additional sajdas. And then when you raise up from those two sajdas, and you recite again the tashahhud, the at-tahiyat, you recite the salawat upon the Prophet, peace be upon him, and then you give salams to the right and to the left. So the sajda sahw is to be performed after the salam to the right. And then when you have completed those two sajdas, you again recite the tashahhud, the at-tahiyat, and the salibarik and the blessings to our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And then you give the salam to the right and to the left.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لكل سهو سجدان بعد ما يسلم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem gene buyuruyor ki her sehvin yanılmanın selamdan sonra iki secdesi vardır. Yani bir şey unuttun mu rükünler olarak nafile olan şeyler istemez. Öteki hani esas namazda farz olan şeyleri unuttun mu onun için secde yapman lazım. Herhalde gerekmez.
And which are the points when you forget that you need to make up for? So if it's a component of your prayer which is obligatory, then they must be made up for. So you are in prayer and you forgot a component during prayer which is obligatory, then you need to make the sajda sahw. Then you need to make those additional 2 rakats before giving salam. If you forgot something which is nafila, then you don't need to make the sajda sahw.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما سهى في صلاته في 3 أو 4 فليتم فإن الزيادة خير من النقصان. Peygamber sallallahu gene buyuruyor ki namazında 3 rekat mı 4 rekat mı kıldı diye karıştıran kişi namazını zannına göre 4 rekata tamamlasın. Şüphesiz ki fazla olan eksik olandan daha hayırlıdır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you are unsure whether you have prayed 3 or 4 rakat while you need to pray 4 rakat, then you should always assume the minimum and pray the maximum. So if you are unsure whether you perform 3 or 4, then complete your 4 rakah. So if you actually have performed 4 rakah but you think you only have performed 3 rakah, then you should make sure to make up and complete the 4 rakah. And it is better that you pray more than less. So you should always complete to the maximum, and always assume the minimum of what you prayed. It is more recommendable to assume the minimum and to complete to the maximum.
Yani 4 olmadı 3 şey zannederse gene 4'e tamamlasın. Ondan sonra gene sehv secdesi yapıp o vakit fazla olsa eksikten daha iyidir diyor Peygamber sallallahu.
So our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when you are unsure whether it's 3 or 4 rakats which you have prayed, if you need to pray 4 rakah, then assume the minimum, assume that you only prayed 3 rakah and complete the 4 rakah. Even if you then will have prayed 1 rakah too many, it is better to have prayed more than to have prayed less. But in either case, if you make the sajda sahw, those additional 2 sajdas will make up for either case. But our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recommends, peace be upon him, to always assume the minimum and to complete to the maximum.
صدق رسول الله فيما قال وكما قال زيادة إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه الكرام وإلى أرواح جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين قدماء الشرائع وإلى أرواح الأئمة الأربعة وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية خاصة إمام طريقة الغوث الخليقة خواجة بهاء الدين محمد بن يسير البخاري سيدنا عبد الخالق الرجواني مولانا شيخ شرف الدين الدوساني مولانا شيخ عبد الله فاز العصاني مولانا شيخ محمد ناظم هادي الحقاني وسائر ساداتنا الصديقيون وأمنا في حضرته وجوار الحسين بن حذيفة وفكاء هاجم مصطفى ترابي جملة من geçmişler ruhları için şehit şuhadaların ruhları için hayırlı gelmesi şeylerin defolması için Allah Teala el-Fatiha.